delay is too much. Too much delay. I think I can probably do maybe more like a dotted eighth and then turn down. See, high cut's pretty. Turn down the feedback for sure. Hey, how's everyone doing? Hey, Zuhair, what's going on? Good to see you. Richard, I saw your question there, Richard, or your statement. I think that was you, right? About George Thorogood thing. Well, I'm going to talk about that, but I'll give it a second for people to start to show up because I got some thoughts on that. And trick is to use fingers. Yeah. However, we're going to talk about that. Okay. Pepper's in the house. Pepper, are you still in college? Are you going for your third doctorate at this point? A lot of things. A lot of the early slide players would use like a switchblade or a knife. I mean, this is a triangle mallet. I don't think I've ever used that before. It actually kind of works nice. You have a lot of visibility. You can really see where the contact is being made. The bigger the diameter, you kind of have to, if you're going to do slide though, you're really going to be using your ear. You're basically turning a guitar into a violin is what you're doing. You're getting rid of the frets. And so that's, you're really going to have to be using your ear for that. Oh, but Holly's in the house. Holly, how you doing? Guitar is crying. I'm playing 16 years and never used or held a slide, although I'm into blues. So you can use a lot of things. We were talking about this last week. I've got many, many things. This is a saxophone mouthpiece cover. Now, it's very thin. You can see how thin it is. So more mass is better, and this has very little mass. Talking about turning the slide or going at a diagonal, that's very common in Hawaiian stuff. Let's see. This is a I keep forgetting what that's called. This is a socket wrench set. It's from Craftsman. And I used to use this a lot. It's pretty heavy. I talked about this last week. One of the nice things is there's more mass at the tip where your strings are thicker. which I feel like helps a little bit. I've got another slide, but it's in my guitar case that is kind of beveled like that and has a little more weight on the lower string. I feel like that's a good thing. This is just a piece of copper pipe. I guess you could probably use it. Can't get my finger in there, but it's a little noisy. It's also pretty thin. Lots of glass slides. This is a bar. This would be used on lap steel or like dobro or something like that because it's solid. But I could if I played like this, you know, but my action's too high or low. But I kind of like this core seed and bottle slide. That was what Dwayne Allman started using, and I think he's probably the first to do it. Maybe not. I could be wrong. But my understanding of the story is that he was sick or something, and he was on some medication. He was messing around with the bottle and just started playing it. But you can use a wine bottle neck. You know, you just have to make sure you sand that glass so it's not sharp. But yeah, you can get a bottle, you know, a thing that cuts the neck off a bottle. Technically, I guess I don't drink a lot of wine, but I guess I could get one of those and then use it on every wine bottle and create new slides. But what's the purpose of a slide? Purpose of a slide is kind of like I said, to remove the frets. You can't do this. You know, this kind of bend. It's pretty tough. I mean. I can kind of emulate a slide with my with bends. But the slide just kind of, and then you also got there's no flesh involved. So you kind of get this brighter sound. And you got this nice vibrato that you can do above and below the fret, which you can't do with it. You can only go, so like a violinist would do a vibrato like this. They would get in pitch, so right here, and they would roll their finger back and forth between that pitch. So they're going, here's the pitch, and they're going above it and below it like this. Okay? But with guitar, we can only go above it when we got that vibrato is only happening, and that tremolo is only happening above the starting pitch. But if I put a slide on, I can go below and above, and you notice the difference. Now, you should always have that. We should talk about that. I think maybe we've talked about that, Bruce, at some point. Talked about vibrato. But so I feel like slide is a little bit more like a human voice, and it is also it's kind of another way. In some ways, I mean, like say you had arthritis in your left hand, even in both hands. I feel like you could probably play slide if you had really struggling fingers, because you're really it's all about position. But playing like single notes like that is pretty tough, because it's really, you got to be really precise. So yeah, please don't. Sometimes I'm like, uh-oh, my hands hurt. I'm like, uh-oh, am I getting it? My grandmother had it. My mom didn't. My dad didn't. So I'm hoping it kind of doesn't hit me. But I've been meaning to, I have a friend whose father is retired now, but he was rheumatologist. So he specialized in arthritis and things like that. And he retired, but he's got Parkinson's now. So I was going to interview him. They live up in Sacramento, and I was going to interview him for my channel because I had a lot of people. And so then I kind of went on a quest down here in LA and calling out these doctors' offices, and they're just like, "What?" And I'm like, "Do you have any of your rheumatologists that play guitar or be willing to talk to a guitar YouTuber about rheumatology and stuff?" And so I feel like I kind of almost want to know the answers to the questions before I go to do a video on this. But I would just set up a couple cameras and then film it, and maybe send the questions in advance. But the thinking is, what are some things you could do? I mean, that's pretty standard for anything. I mean, for the prescriptions that he's going to give for a guitar playing person that has arthritis is going to be the same as any person with arthritis. So it's really not particularly. That's why I wouldn't mind having a rheumatologist that played guitar, so they could kind of say, well, yeah, actually, if these are some certain things that you might want to do. I know, like sitz baths or putting your hands in salt water, things like that. But one of the things you don't want to do, just so you know, is after your hands are wet, like say your fingers are pruny, right? After you've been taking a tub or a shower or swimming or whatever, or soaking your hands, you don't want to play your guitar right away because your calluses are soft, and you don't want to have your calluses get damaged. So now, if you play slide, you'll never have calluses. And so what we were talking about was looking at in particular, all of the shapes. Let's see if I can find the cage shapes, and looking for notes that are on the same fret within those shapes, okay? That's what we were looking for, and it's like real obvious, like with the A form. You got 3 notes right there, and boom, that's the triad. And Richard, hopefully you're still there. I'm going to talk about your George Thorogood observation. YouTube. I'm just going to go ahead and look at images and see if I can find something that has everything I'm talking about. Surely I've got an image up here. Stop calling you Shirley. Of the cage. Oh, I do. Look at this. Okay. All right. I'm going to just drag this over so that we can have that reference. Where am I going? There. Okay. So with this one, or should I grab this one? I don't know what the difference is. These all look identical. Oh, I see they're different keys. Okay. So this one would be G, all G's. Wouldn't be a bad one, but this would be all A's. This one's all C's. We'll go with this one. All right. Boop. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So this is kind of the cage method. We've got 1, 2. You got the red, the blue, the green, the yellow, and the purple. And this actually spells out cage. C, the red. A is the blue. G is the green. E is the yellow, and D is. So I basically just used. I didn't make these into technical bar chords, but you can see, like at the 12th fret there, the purple. Those 2 notes, not great. We talked about this last week. The struggle with those 2 notes, not a problem if you're fretting it, but you don't want to hit that second string, the middle string, the string in between these notes. Now you got an E minor chord or C major 7 chord. And that's just too pretty. People will start kissing instead of crying, and you don't want that. Or maybe you do, I don't know. Why should I presume that? Okay, gosh, I got a lot of files in this YT folder on my desktop. YT meaning YouTube. Yeah, a lot of cage stuff. So so Richard said, hey, I've been trying to get that George Thorogood sound, and it just was sloppy or messy sounding, right? I hope I'm representing your statement. I can read it, but anyway, it was from Discord. So again, if you have a question for me or a thing you'd like me to teach on, I'm always looking for ideas. I got a video sitting on my hard drive that's taking me forever just because the graphics are like, I got to create graphics and, a tablature and things like that. And it's just kind of I just keep putting it off. And I've been super duper busy, which I'm super thankful for. I mean, I just turned 64. I don't plan on retiring. And I just got a new client who's 30. And I think he's going to be very happy with what I do for him. He's a composer, video game composer. So we had a good Zoom meeting, and he was a nice guy, and I'm looking forward to working with him. And then I know I've got some more Call of Duty coming this week, so I'll be working on that game this week. So. But the George Thorogood question, okay, so, like, if you want to get that George Thorogood kind of lick, is it Bad to the Bone? Right? It's kind of the vibe, right? I'm playing, just so you know what I'm doing, I've got my thumb on the 4th string, first finger is on the 3rd string, and second finger is on the 2nd string. So that's a G triad, okay? And then you put the slide on, where is he? Is he still there? Hey, Dennis, good to see you. AJ's in the house, good to see you. What's his name, Yaher? Zuhair. I don't know if he's still there, but if he doesn't have a slide, you can just use your finger. Pretend like your first finger is a slide. Now, it can't get all sloppy and messy and nasty. You know, when you're playing like a George Thorogood type lick, you really kind of want to have a face like this. You want to look like something smells bad. Okay, now, pretty sure, almost 100% sure that George Thorogood's in open G. So he's not using standard tuning. So that may be part of the problem, because because the other part of your point was that the fingers, playing with the fingers and isolating those strings, and then I'm playing 5th fret, open, 3rd fret, open. You just go into a guitar store and do that, and people are like, wait, that's cool. You know. But you could slide into it. You can do just your first finger. You can slide up 1 fret, 2 frets. You can slide up to both of them, which you could do with the slide. And tonality-wise, we're kind of in the G blues, and if you think about it, you know, if you look at a blues scale, we at least have those middle strings all are in that key. The E note's a little out of the E note part of this chord here, but it's totally necessary. And then this open B is like, what the heck? So it's got a lot of stuff going on harmonically, okay? We've got a lot of notes in here. But it works. And we've heard it a billion times now. Now, like I said, I think he's using open G, sorry. So I'm going to drop down to open G. So now I've got a G chord. Just the bottom string is a D, but it's G, D, G, B, D. Okay? And I can do the same lick. Sounds the same because those are the only strings I didn't change. So when you play a lick like that in standard, you're kind of implying an open G thing. Okay, now, Richard, to the bigger point that I was going to make on your statement. Yes, like it cleaned up, right? Like you can control it more when you use your fingers. However, I don't know. I didn't pull up a George Thorogood video before I did this, but I don't know if he uses his fingers, and he might. But my guess is he's using a pick, and that he's just hitting all the strings. You can with open G. Because that just sounds more George Thorogood to me. It's kind of a devil may care vibe. He doesn't care. He's like... And the nice thing is you've got that power chord now with the open G. But I'm still muting with the side of my hand, my kind of palm muting. If you just want to tune the A string down to G, you can... I can put all of this back to standard except the A strings. I have it set to G. And typical Gibson, the G string is just awful. Zuhair, I'm tuning down, so it's less of an issue. I do. It just depends on, every string's different. It depends on the gauge of the string. It depends. But with a standard guitar set, you can tune up to E and A, no problem. So in other words, if I'm at E, A, D, G, B, E, here, boom, there, E standard. If I tune that A string up to B, up a whole step, the equivalent of 2 frets, and the D string up to E, two frets again, and then the G string up to G sharp, it should do that without breaking. I'm not promising that, but I've never had a string break when I was tuning from standard E to open E. And then open A tuning would be, you would take this tuning, bottom 2 would be the same, and the D string would go up to E, a whole step, the G string would go up to A, a whole step, and the B string would go up to C sharp, a whole step. And again, I've tuned to A before, I've never had a guitar string break doing that. The thing is, like, if you want open C or something like that, and you want to have that A shape or whatever, you might tune to open G and then just capo. The problem with capoing is you're kind of lowering the strings. That makes it a little harder to play slide. Right now, I'm playing E, G, D, B, G, B, E. So right here in the middle 4 strings, I've got a G major chord. Kind of. Okay. So you can see here I'm playing thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger. Now if I just play the bottom 3 of those 4 strings, I'm playing the 5th string, the 4th string, and the 3rd string, I got a power chord. Thanks, Bruce. So tuning down to G is a little bit like cheating on this. It's not standard, but it does give you that power chord kind of thing. Okay, now George Thorogood, like I said, he's probably using a pick, and he's probably not even caring if he's sharp on the C, flat on the B flat, or flat on the C, or sharp on the B. He doesn't care. He says. He's more interested. Okay, he's more interested in that sound of the glass and I don't know if he uses a glass slide or a metal slide, but he's interested in that contact point, the sound of that contact point between the strings and whatever he's sliding with. So if it's a little bit sloppy, he doesn't care. If it's out of control, that's exactly what he's going for in the song. Think about the lyric, Bad to the Bone, right? It's like Bad to the Bone doesn't want to be Bach, and you know, what am I doing? What am I? That's not bad. That's Brad to the Bone. I don't know. Who's Brad? I don't know. Okay, so over here though, I'm going to go back to standard because this graphic over here references standard. So I'm going G back to A. Watch me break a string. But now I'm back in E standard. Okay, that's what eat at Denny's get bad eggs, or eat at diners get bad eggs. So we can kind of go on the hunt for notes that are on the same fret. So on this purple shape here, which is the D shape, slid all the way up here to the 12th fret, which makes it a C chord. You got these two outside, and then you've got if you look at if you combine the the green and the yellow. You get this, okay? And those notes are great. It's the third and the root, but they're on different frets. And technically, I've never really gotten good. I mean, it's quite see, look how much I have to hold that. But with that string in between, so we're not on adjacent strings. We're on the first string and on the third string. It's a little bit easier. If I were to try to do this, that one, even up here, I mean, I almost can't fit my hand. The slide is almost laying like this, right? Keep in mind though, Hawaiian steel players do that all the time. They're always taking their slide and they're doing. But it's a little easier from this angle. The hand doesn't get in the way because the hand's on top of the strings. But here with this, it's like I can't. This part of my hand is in the way. Now, the further up you are, the easier it gets. But you got also that same problem we have when we do trying to get two non-adjacent strings to play on the slide. You don't want to hit that middle string because in this case it's a B note. If I hit that G here and the E up here and I accidentally hit the second string, and that's like, no, it's too pretty. We don't want that. We got a B flat in the chord, so we don't want to be natural. That'd be too sexy. We don't want sexy. We want bluesy. Some people might say that was the same thing. Now, if I can kind of get that, and again, I'm skipping strings. You can't really see it, but if you look at the red there, I'm playing the red notes, the top two red notes up an octave. So I'm playing these two notes, okay? I'm playing the 14th fret on the 4th string and the 13th fret on the 2nd string, okay? And that's doable because the frets are smaller. And you've got a string in between them, so you got a little bit more space to get to that 1 fret movement. Again, it's a little harder when you're on adjacent strings. But you can do, tilt the slide, a slide tilt or a slide bend. I would call it a tilt. But pitch, you really got to practice it, and I'm not very good at it. Okay, here's the problem though. If you hit that middle string, it's like an A. It's between A flat and A. So So it's not even, you're not playing this note, you're not playing that note, you're playing the note that's in between because you're doing a diagonal thing. All right? I can't get it. I cannot get it. And here it's even harder because I got 2 frets. So definitely slide, slide's going to have its limitations. One thing you can practice though is if you want to kind of practice little snippets of scales, like kind of do, re, mi, that wouldn't be a bad thing to do. And notice what I'm doing with my right hand is I'm stopping the string after every note. If I don't do that, it sounds like this. Which you might want. You might want that, like that. I might do it, if I wanted that kind of vibe, I might do that into each note, but I would still mute, so check this out. Now that's a little, almost sounds corny, almost sounds like a cartoon, but in a context, of a song. I don't know if you can hear though. Trying to keep the level from distorting. I think it's really great about playing slide, when you're just playing along with like some kind of song or jam track or whatever, it really forces you to think melodically. You can't just fall into your pentatonic licks. It really forces you to choose your notes and then live with them. If you hit a bad note, you're going to know it. But the beauty of slide is you can always slide down or up to the right note. I kind of always, you can be on any note in the scale. So like one of the byproducts of kind of working on slide is it helps you, I think, learn your fretboard. We talked about that last week. So if I did the C major scale on the G string, we have the 5th fret, 7th, 9, 10, 12. Now, technically, we don't want C major scale. We want a C mixolydian scale. Again, this helps with your theory understanding because, what's the difference between C major and C mixolydian? It has that flatted 7th. So we're going to play a C major scale. 5, 6, 7, 1. All right? And I can, just that scale alone, I can kind of be going up it. And if I'm on a bad note, if I go to one note down or one note up in the scale, it should work. So check it out. I got stuck on that A note, which works great over the F, but the chord changed to C, and now I've got to go, okay, that A note, I could go down to G. Oh, that works over the C. And then the B flat, oh yeah, that definitely works over the C7 chord. So, this is true no matter how, if you're playing with slide or not. If a note's not quite jiving, you can probably move 1 or 2 frets up or down, and you'll find a note that works. Now, I call that fishing, and I hate it when I do a track a solo or something like that, and I can hear myself fishing. Now, a lot of times though, those notes like that A note over C is fine because it's like that 13th kind of vibe. So that's. The G, which isn't in the F chord is the ninth. So it actually is extending that chord harmony, and you're playing more interesting notes. So it's not like you're on a bad note if you're playing G over F or playing A over C. And again, no quiz on this, so don't freak out like, what is he? He's talking too fast. Just take a sip and celebrate the fact that I'm not going to quiz you on this. What is happening is, even though I'm talking fast on some of this stuff, you're hearing it. What's crazy is we got a lot of babies around all of a sudden at church and stuff. My daughter's pregnant, and so we got our first grandchild coming. And babies are born to basically learn any language, right? Because we have all these languages, and we were all born into whatever language we were born into. And so their brains can learn any language technically. And so if you are actually thinking you want your kid to be multilingual, it's not a bad idea when they're newborns to play different languages. Maybe watch a movie in English and then watch a video on English and watch it again in Japanese or Spanish or something. And even if the baby's just laying there in the crib not watching it, they're going to hear it. Now, I don't know that if you don't speak it in the house, I don't know how they're going to understand what they've been hearing. So, but Beato did extensive videos on Dylan and how Dylan got to be perfect pitch. And you can't learn it as an adult. I can never have perfect pitch. It's just not. It can't happen. Hey, Papo. But I have decent relative pitch. I have better relative pitch when I have a guitar in my hand. If that makes sense. Somebody plays me a chord, I can go, oh, that's this. But Dylan, Dylan Beato is like crazy. And Beato said that it was because he listened to so much avant-garde music when Dylan was a newborn. It has to happen within the first year. So if you want, your kid or grandkid to have perfect pitch, you're going to have to listen to a lot of avant-garde music, atonal stuff, things that have no necessarily any key center. Maybe look up 12-tone row music, a lot of that kind of stuff that just doesn't have jazz or experimental jazz like Ornette Coleman, Stravinsky maybe, but more modern than that, more 20th century kind of classical composers, that's how you get, it increases the chance of a child having perfect pitch. It's kind of the equivalent of having multiple languages spoken. When you have no tonal center and every note is fair game, I think the ear is hearing all of that. So, all right. So again, we've got some shapes. If you look at the yellow here, we've got two notes there, and those two notes are actually pretty dope. If I slide into that bottom of the two notes, the one on the 5th string, and those two notes are at the 10th fret, and those are both C's. I'm kind of playing the top 2/3 of a power chord there. Sadly, that note is a D, so I can't play the bottom string. And this is a case where when I'm hitting it, I keep my fingers off the strings and let them both ring out. And if I go to do it in F, it's going to be up here. Or down here. Those two notes occur somewhere else. Again, we have the 5th and the root, but we also have it down here. If you want to do it on the bottom two strings at the 3rd fret, slide into that. And again, if you don't have a slide, you can just use your finger. There's a lot of things you can use for a slide, though. Like I've said, I mean, a lot of the original slide players used knives. I think if you flip a knife over, but just be careful. The thicker side, they would use a knife. But I think they were probably using like switchblades or something like that, or knives that you would use like in hunting. And so I could do that. And see, I talk about that. Okay, now that's another thing is the vibrato does two things. One, it hides your lack of pitch perfection. Okay, if I do this, see, and I got the tuner up right now, and I think I'm in C. I'm actually 20 cents sharp flat. That's in tune. Now I'm sharp. So it's very difficult to play perfect. That's where the vibrato comes in handy. I don't seem to have a problem playing vibrato when I'm playing slide this way. When I'm playing over the top, like on dobro or whatever, it takes me a second to get that vibrato going. Alex is better at it. And you could hold it firm. People don't expect you to be perfectly in pitch when you're playing slide. So if you're a little flat, a little sharp, always better to be a little flat than a little sharp. I think there's a huge forgiveness factor there. But the vibrato does a second thing, and that is keeps the notes ringing. Okay, so like if I that alone is just a great sound, and I don't even have that much distortion. If I had a lot of distortion, I mean, it's kind of like what the Foxy Lady, right? You just wiggling that F sharp note, if I'm not mistaken. And you can even hear the other strings in the recording. You can hear like the low E string, and you can hear stuff ringing out. And I can probably generate. Okay, I'm going to start from complete silence. A lot of noise. I'm not hearing that C note. Okay, now I'm hearing. I opened it up so there's a G and a C. But that's a cool effect. Hawaiian there. You bring that 6th and that 9th, it's going to sound a lot more Hawaiian. Hey, Sam, what's going on? Sam's in the house. Jan's in the house. Good to see you, Jan. Sorry if you were there. Well, Sam, I saw you before. You said... If we are languaging. Yeah, we are. Now, if you're going to use slide, you're going to play some slide, you're going to want to take it off your hand every now and do this. Because I get like lock pinky if I'm doing slide too much. Especially that's kind of why I don't really use this anymore. This is super duper heavy. And again, this is a Craftsman. It's an 11/16. The nice thing about this though, let's see, is that if it ever breaks, they'll replace it for free. Isn't that amazing? But I don't know that you could even break this. It would be really hard to break this thing. And I don't know if that's still true or not. I don't want to. I can pull up. If you want to just have one around. Like I said, I used to keep this in my guitar case because again, it was bulletproof. It wasn't going to break. Yeah, but the great thing about the Craftsman, even though it's really heavy, and you're really going to want to be careful using it too much. Let's see. So, how long is this? Let's see. And 11/16 is the size of the inside, but the beauty of this is that you can customize it. So if that's too big, okay, it's 43316. Yeah, I always use my pinky. You can use your ring. Index finger doesn't work. I'll tell you why. This is a technology. Oh, they do sell Amazon or Craftsman at Amazon. This one's not right. I don't want to post the wrong one. The cool thing though is that you can customize it to your finger. I think this is the deep. Yeah, I don't want to post one because I'm afraid I don't want to post the wrong one. Well, let me just use the serial number here. Let's see, or the number on here, the product number 43316, and see if that refines it at all. No, it does not. Yeah, they have all new product numbers, I guess. This one's kind of a black chrome. It's kind of cool looking, actually. But I don't know how long it is. It looks pretty. Well, check out this one. This looks similar. Okay, so the question of, I'm going to close that window. The question of why not use your first finger for it? The problem is you can't mute behind the string, and that's one of the things I keep forgetting to talk about. Is that one of the things that really helps with getting good tone and not having too much chaos. On electric, it's less critical. On acoustic, it's more critical because there's no pickup over here, so it's not going to. It's not really. I'm not noticing a whole lot of difference. But having your fingers behind can get rid of a lot of extraneous noise, especially if you happen to tilt the slide off the string and you're like, if you're going to play like I showed you last week, you can literally push down. It's one of the things when you learn slide, you're told never to do. You're told to have a very light touch. But if I'm doing that, I'm tilting the slide, so it's actually not making contact with all the strings. I'm pretty much doing it just on the first string. I can do it on any string. And it creates kind of a cool effect. It's like we did it last week. It's like auto corrected slide. It sounds like autocorrect, and so. Or auto pitch and or pitch correct, and I think maybe that's part of the reason that what's his name started doing it. Yeah, Danny Gatton was great. My favorite slide player is probably Sonny Landreth, and there's guys that have come out. There's another Landreth kid that's freaking insane, but not related. But Sonny Landreth would do this. So I'm gonna go to Open G. And here's another reason to use your pinky. I'm not going to do the bottom string, so I'll just pretend like I have a 5-string, like Keith Richards. All right, now I'm gonna add a little more gain to this. So let me just. turn that off. I'm going to put another distortion here. Army Drive, what's that? Pretty gainy. Probably use a gate. Let me put a gate on here. Where's gate? Built-in effects. Utilities is in there. No. Noise gate. Where would dynamics? Gate. There it is. Makes sense, I guess. And I'll go with a G noise gate. There we go. Got rid of that buzz. Okay. So what Sonny Landreth would do is he would play like a G chord up at the 12th fret. So now I'm opening G. So what I'm doing is I'm actually fretting behind the slide. So having a light touch is real important on the slide so that when you push down the string behind it, the string will that string will disengage from the slide, and then that pitch will be played. So right now, I've got a G and a B, but if I push down the second string at 2 frets down, I get a G and an A. And if I let go of that string, it sounds like it's like a hammer-on. It's even more magical on the top 2 strings. Keep in mind, I'm tuned in open G. So I've got a B note, which is normal, but then this is now a D. It would normally be an E, but because I'm tuned down a whole step, that's a D note. And if I do the same thing on that top string, I get an unbelievably cool B to C dissonance. And if I let go of it, it resolves. And then he would keep Yeah, he's just like freaking amazing. And so, I mean, I've been into Sonny since like 92 or something. One of my favorite slide players. I don't really ever use that technique because I'm not, like I said, the whole reason I did this video is because typically when I play slide, it's like, oh, I think I'll throw some slide on this live. And I'm just like, I can't tune down. I don't have time. I'm just going to add slide to an end of the song or kind of a thing, you know. So that's where it's kind of handy to be able to have some licks at your disposal. And see, I can play a lot of licks. I can't do that one though. Well, I guess I could actually. I could do it instead. I could do it with a slide. Let me go back. E standard. Our friend from last week that complained that I spent my whole time tuning in the video. He ended up hanging out the whole video though. He was there the whole time. It was funny. I can kind of get that sound. It doesn't sound the same as Sonny Landreth with the vibrato and everything, but yeah. And I can do. Oh, don't want that slide. know, I can do it with the G shape here. I'm sorry, the A shape form. You can think of it. You know, I can fret down. So that's a and Sam, you asked. It was your question. That's a reason to have the slide on your pinky. That's a very minor reason. Not many people use that skill. It's pretty much more important if we're gonna do. Let's see, where's my Martin? Ah, get rid of this capo. If we're gonna, you know, here muting behind. So it's more noisy if I don't, you know. It just cleans it up if you have it. Now this guitar is also, the action's too low on it for everybody. Yep, everybody take a sip. Change guitars. I have a gig I have to, not gig, I have a session I have to do. Oh, is it buffering? Nice, right? Yeah, I'm not seeing anything buffering here. I'm staring at the little indicator. It's green right now. I did get new system. New hardware, like new router and Wi-Fi and everything. I'm in standard. So the buffering is probably on your end, Richard, or somewhere in the country there's an issue. There have been some sabotages recently on fiber optic cables. And in California, there's been some, in fact, there's one that was treated as a terrorist attack because it shut down a hospital, shut down their internet. But yeah, and rig slides, I talked about those last week. I've never really mastered that. I see live guys use them, and I have one here, and it comes with different inserts. So this is brass, I believe, and then these are plastic inserts, and they're different sizes. And so I don't have one; it's not tight enough, so it's kind of loose on here. But a lot of guys will, you know. So this is standard tuning. I like writing fingerstyle stuff in standard because everybody tends to do open tunings. And I feel like it's more difficult in standard. And I even did this was an E major. But it's nice because I've got the E and the A. I've got the one in the 4 root bass notes there. So it kind of makes it nice. You can kind of do a 1-4 kind of progression, no problem. Yeah. That's Emma Louise. You can find that on Spotify. I named it after my daughter. The only thing is, I think I played it too fast on the recording. I was trying to be too impressive, and it was a combination, kind of a song for my daughter and a study. One of the things I want to do is to try to do pull-offs in time where I wasn't treating them as grace notes. In other words, I'm not going. I have to be patient and hold on to that note. I can't remember it. I actually have it. I have it charted out. I should. I have the tab. I should perform it on YouTube. It might just take forever to do, because I'll make mistakes. But then I can sell the tab for it. I have a friend. I've made a recent friend who's a YouTuber. You might know. His name is Quist. Quist, and he'll do jam tracks, and he's been doing these for 15 years, where he plays one time through it, which I did recently. Remember, I did like 10 minutes of me, it was a 10-minute jam track and then 10 minutes of you and me jamming together, and it allowed me to do one, but the other one was based on the Pink Floyd progression. It wouldn't let me keep the guitar soloing over it, because I guess my tone or my ideas were too close to the record or something. I don't know. Yeah, you've seen his videos. Yeah, so we've become friends. He's actually going to sub for Alex at church in a couple weeks. So, nice guy from Denmark, I believe, from Copenhagen. Is that right? So his wife is Scottish, I think. I'm getting messages here. Let me just make sure it's not work related. Oh, that's weird. My ring keeps going off. I think it's their way of saying subscribe. I got a ring on my Ring doorbell, and then I had 180 day. It wasn't anywhere near 180 days. It was maybe 60 days of free service, and they just have been emailing me like every 15 minutes to order the service. And I haven't, just because having a notification, on my phone that somebody's at the door is enough. Really, I don't necessarily need to have videos of it, but I may pay for it. I just hate. Oh yeah, Quiz. Oh, so you all know? Yeah, Quiz Jams. Yeah. So yeah. In fact, he and I should do a video together. We'll probably end up doing that. I just may interview him actually. That would be kind of interesting, right? He's pretty anonymous in his videos, so it might be kind of fun to have him here. So last time to answer your question, I graduated my master's in social work. Post a photo on. Oh, okay. Appreciate that. You're getting all mad at me. I'm not still in school. Okay, I do. I just felt like it. I'm sure it felt longer for you than it did for me, but it felt like you were in school going to classes forever. So congratulations. Congratulations. And there's a lot of social work to be done. There's a whole lot of it. I have friends in it. I have a very good dear friend who was worked for Child Protective Services in Pasadena. He was from Ethiopia, a very dear friend, and he passed away. Got some weird lung disease, and they couldn't figure it out. But he's our kids kind of grew up together, and so yeah, because they lived in the same building as us. Bulto, like the dog, Bulto. And let's see what else is going on. Yeah, so let me see if I can maybe do something with Quist. I mean, if nothing else, we could do a jam together. That might be kind of fun for his channel. It wouldn't hurt me to have to have exposure on his channel. So, yeah. And then I've got questions. I've got to make sure that I save this or mark this email. I'm speaking at a university in about a month, and I'm just being interviewed. Let's see. But he sent questions that he'll ask, and one of the questions, and the typical it's pretty much typical questions. I just have to search by his name. Yeah, I'm gonna flag this so I remember where it is. How do I? Where's the flag thing? Huh. I hate when they update software and they move things around. All right. What are you doing? I said add to contact, silly. Why are you doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. All right, so I'm having a hard time. I want to flag this. No, I don't want to reply. Huh. Weird. Oh, up here. They moved it up there. Oh, I hate that. Yeah, let's flag now. So let's see, what are some of the questions? Usually what I do, walk around, ask you to tell us about what you do. Part of the reason I chose you is that you have and done so many things. I'll ask you how you got there, a little bit of your story, I'll riff a little, ask you to follow up if you want to do what you do and your story. I'll ask you the most important traits or skills, assets, however you want to phrase it, accomplishing things you have. Honestly, this usually fills at least an hour. My last question is usually something like, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self? And that was one that felt like there were a couple things. One, I would say collaborate. Spend as much time with other musicians as you can. That would definitely be one of my things that I wish I did. And then also determine if you're a starter or a finisher. And if you're a starter, partner with finishers. And if you're a finisher, partner with starters. Figure that out. It's rare to have someone who's a starter and a finisher. Todd Rundgren would be a starter and a finisher. A guy can write a killer song and can produce a killer track, right? So let's see. I've got a Black Mountain Ring. Yeah. And you know, one string slides or two string slides work too. I don't have any of those. Like I said, this one here, I never put on the ring, the plastic ring that was tight enough because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get it off, right? So, but I can see where if you got just used to having this on your finger, it might be a little bit of a weight, might damage this joint here a little bit, or make it sore. But it's got mass, and if you can spin it around, and if it stays put, it's got enough mass. This has a lot more mass. I feel like this has good mass, heaviness. This has enough mass, even though it's very, very light. You can get different thicknesses of glass, and it will have different tones. So, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I don't know if I can do another Monday on this subject. If anybody have any ideas of what we could talk about, I could talk about other tunings, and with slide stuff too. I want to do a video. My dad get videos do well, so I'm thinking I've got the video I have sitting on my computer right now that I'm working on is what is it? Oh, it's harmonic tricks. So I'm kind of compiled all the harmonic little harmonic tricks, and I put them in one video. And then that is just taking me forever because I'm having to do notation for it. I probably could have not and just let it play, but people would be like, I can't see what your hands are doing, kind of thing. So I only used one camera for it. But I want to do a video on dadgad, major or minor, yes. So is dadgad a major tuning or a minor tuning? And it is both. And so I'll do examples of that. I kind of want to do that next. I feel like I might be able to do that in one sitting without any real. I'm gonna have to do some graphics probably. I might already have the graphics because I've done a lot of dadgad videos, but sometimes hunting for graphics is more time consuming than creating new ones. So, especially since a lot of times I don't name graphics very well, but I do have a hard drive that has all the YouTube stuff on it. So it's probably in folders for each video. So any graphics I create for that video, I put in the folder so it's there if I need it. But yeah, but anybody think about different things, but yeah, I want to do a video, like I said, on dadgad and the major and minor capabilities of it. And let's see, what else? Yeah, I'm gonna have to have graphics now. I think now as I'm formulating the video in my head, I'm going, yeah, I'm gonna be talking about harmony and scales and stuff. So there might be like just this kind of graphic here. This stuff is, oops, not that. This stuff is easy to do. Okay, this stuff that's super easy. That's just click and type. These take really a lot of time. These kind of graphics, they're because I'm using Word for this. This is like or pages in Apple lingo. Yep. Yeah, you can do any harmonic. You'd be amazed at how many harmonics are actually on the fretboard. You can find a lot of them, but you're right. C, I don't know any place I can play C, F, or B flat. You're right. But C sharp, yeah. F sharp, oh yeah. B natural, easy. But yeah, I think you're right. You probably, Sam, you knew this already. You probably picked out the 3 of the 12 you can't play naturally. Oh, my volume seems low relative to other videos. You mean, you mean yeah, I probably should process more on the back end or something. Thank you, Kevin. That's helpful. You're talking about this video or my live or my published videos? Okay. Tunings interest you. Okay. It's good to know. Oh, you mean right now live? Really? Okay, because I've got this cranked. The input here, let me see if I have any properties. Is that what I want? It's just, so I'm just recording from the webcam. I don't have a mic. Yeah, I'm not using a mic. You're right. Most people have a mic. I don't want to like a SM7 in front of my face. Like a podcaster, I could use this mic, I suppose, but yeah, I'm not part of it's just because the neck, you have to bring it in from somewhere, and it's going to get in the way. I don't know, and then it hides your face, and everybody really loves looking at my face, but you just notice you're cracking your shoot. I could do like I'll do a little screen grab here. This is I gotta let that go to the desktop so I can show you. I'm using boom, there we go. I'm using OBS, which is definitely more of a PC kind of software, but you can see right here I've got the upper one is the audio input capture, the mic auxiliary I'm not using, but that thing's I've got that all the way up, and I'm trying to keep it out of the red. So, is that this? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, but there may be something in the settings. Filters. What filters am I using? Oh, I am using a passive EQ. Oh, because, okay. So can I bypass this here? Boop, 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 boop. Or I can maybe turn up the gain a little bit. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hopefully I didn't get too loud. Okay, does that make a difference at all? Check 1 2. Did that help at all? I have the passive gain on because I'm cutting low end for that kick drum because it would tend to distort. Let me see. I'd go up one more notch. There we go. Let me try that. Is that louder? So in other words, the graphic that I'm seeing is my input level. Okay, now why do I want this close? That's weird. So anyway, we didn't get many people this week. We got up to, we had 32 last week. We held steady. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I'll tell you something, Kevin. I noticed as soon as I turned on OBS, I felt like I was sitting further away from I felt like it was too distant, like this. But nothing's changed. I haven't moved my, because the camera's mounted just on the top of one of the monitors. I have two monitors. I don't know why this won't close. It won't close. Boop. Huh. Okay, now you just went over here for some reason. Okay, anyway. But yeah, I'll I don't know. Okay, so yeah, it may be. It must be something in that. You know, I got like the filter maybe. So, but did it go up? Did it go up when I turned up the passive EQ at all? Oh, there it went. It disappeared now. Okay. So if I click on open that, there it is. All right. No, didn't notice the difference. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to turn this off now. Oh wait, I see. I could add a. It's so funny because it's like. Oh wait, there's a limiter on. Threshold release. Minus 6 dB, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Minus 6 dB is quite a bit. Is that any better? Any notice a difference there? Yeah, I have a lapel mic. In fact, the last two videos I've done, I'm using a lapel mic, and that helps with the live thing. To be honest, Holly, I don't know how to get that to OBS. And somebody said, oh, you need to have this interface and this software. And I was like, no. So no difference. Okay, no, that's weird. So there is a limiter on it. Let's see, filters, advanced audio properties, balance, no, volume, audio input capture. I can do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It says I can go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and I actually, this says it's active, but I'm not doing anything there. So apparently I can adjust it up. Do I use flat wound? On that one. Oh, I'm sorry, Sadie. I did not see that question. I'm so sorry. It's hard to kind of pay attention in general for me. Okay, I'm gonna go. So I was set at 0 dB. I'm gonna go. I mean, you know, flat. I'm gonna go up 3 dB and see if that makes a difference. I just don't want it. See, it's going to distort. I don't want you to distort. I feel like that. If I go to this now, see, I'm going in the red here, which I can turn this down. But anyway, Sadie, yes, on my vintage archtop, the K archtop, which is really, it's not a real archtop. It was a poor man's archtop back in the day. So a real archtop would probably take like a piece of wood like 2 inches thick, and they would carve the top out of it like a violin. And those generally tend to be very expensive guitars because, again, you're using this much wood that you could, on a normal guitar, you could maybe create 5 tops out of that much wood. And so it's expensive. The K archtop that I have is really just, I don't know, it's not pressed wood, but it's probably some kind of ply, and then they wet it and they mold it and then they let it sit, and it just saves. So, oh, that works. Okay, you just turned on. Do I have any techies? No, just me. I'm the only techie here. Apparently, I could add distortion to this if I want, but. So on that guitar, because whenever I pick it up, I want to have a certain vibe to it. I kind of love the sound of finger picking on flat wounds. It's kind of a cool sound. On my 175, which again, I don't think a 175 is a true archtop. I think it's, again, it's a solid piece of wood, but it's molded. It's like wetted and molded rather than carved. That one, I don't remember. I may have flat wounds on that. I have put flat wounds on multiple guitars, basses, things like that. I do like them. It definitely has a kind of a vintage sound to me, so it kind of works for jazz, especially, and for archtops. So I would love to have like one of those old Epiphone or Gibson no pickup archtops, like an L5 or something, and I would definitely keep flat wounds on it, I think. Yeah, so it's definitely a different feel to play. It definitely feels different. Yeah, it definitely feels different. And it's less noise. It's a different kind of noise. It definitely feels different. It takes a little bit of getting used to. But it's kind of a cool sound. Like I said, I like it with finger picking. So I've done a couple pop tracks with that where I've finger picked it, and it just, to me, has this weird, not normal sound, which I'm always hunting for. You use flat tops? Yeah, mostly flat tops. You use wound strings. I don't think I've ever used a flat top with flat wounds. Oh, you had an archtop Gibson back in the late 60s. Dang it. Yeah, I've got a mid-60s 175 that I'm sure you've all seen. And I don't remember right now if it's got flat wounds on it or not. Elixir does not make flat wounds because you can't really get I don't think you can get the Gore-Tex to stick onto the flat wounds. So, boop, boop, boop. All right, I'm going to take off. I'm going to let Bob and Bruce and Holly and I don't know, is Dennis still around? And let them all, give them a break. Send them home. Okay, guys, you can go home. Clock out. Dennis was here, right? Did I not see Dennis at some point? Talking about my admins. Yeah, Dennis was here. He may still be. And we added Bob's the most recent admin, mainly because I guess Bruce and Holly were going to be gone a couple weeks, things like that. So Bruce suggested adding Bob. So Bob, you can thank Bruce if you, or you can curse him, one of the two. Yeah, take care, everyone. Thank you, Sam. Take care, AJ. You have a good day. Good week. Next week, we can talk about open tunings again. We could talk about like Open D. That would be kind of cool. I've done a few on Open DADGAD, and I want to do a video on DADGAD. I may do that one quickly if I have time this week, because that's one I feel like I can do in one sitting, just to kind of explain. In fact, I could even make it. I wouldn't make it a short, but I might make it like a 5 to 10 minute video instead of a 20-minute video. But I want to talk about the modes that you can play in DADGAD using all the open strings. And I figured that would be interesting. Sam would particularly like that. But there's going to be three minor modes that we can use and 2 major modes that we can use in DADGAD. Oh, drop D tune, like Can't Find My Way Home, yeah? Is that in drop D? Oh, I mean open D? All right, and drop D is very common. I like double drop D because it's cool for slide. I like it for slide, but I haven't written anything in double drop D. But yeah, so drop D is a very common tune, and we could talk about that. It's kind of easy to write. I've got some fingerstyle stuff that I've written in drop D because you just got that perpetual D thing going on there. Anyway, God bless you all. We'll talk soon. Hopefully I'll see you. Kevin, good to see you. I'll see you guys. Sadie, God bless you. Everybody take care. Be safe. Hopefully, Lord willing, I'll be here next Monday. Not going anywhere for a while. No trips, no... Mondays, you just never know. If I have to do a session, I get a call for a session, I got to do it. But nice. Yeah, Kevin, alternate tunings are fun just to have. It's like you can just set up a guitar so you have it set up that way and then pick it up and mess around. For me, alternate tunings are really just for experimenting. Playing live would be very difficult unless you were specifically playing a song that required it. But that's why I've done videos on play any song in open D, play any song in open or in DADGAD. Mainly because it's like, well, what if I'm in D and I want to stay in D for a couple songs, but we're going to be playing normal songs? How do I play a C chord in open D, or how do I play E minor in open D? That kind of thing. So, all right. Yeah, it is kind of. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next week. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.